The intergalactic council chamber buzzed with tension. Representatives from the galaxy's most advanced civilizations argued over a problem they couldn't solve. A mysterious energy imbalance threatened the stability of their entire galaxy, and no one had a viable solution. As the debate reached a fever pitch, a calm yet firm voice cut through the noise. "We need to consider all options," declared Councillor Threx, a towering figure with shimmering blue skin. "It's time we call upon the humans." A murmur spread through the room. The humans were known for their unorthodox methods and peculiar ways of solving problems. Some council members were skeptical, but desperation outweighed pride. They sent the invitation. A week later, the human delegation arrived, led by Captain Jane Foster. Jane was a practical woman with a reputation for thinking outside the box. Her team consisted of engineers, scientists, and a quirky technician named Max, known for his love of improvisation. As they entered the Grand Council chamber, Jane took a deep breath. She had heard about the council's grandeur, but seeing it in person was overwhelming. The ceiling was adorned with constellations, and the walls were covered with holographic maps of the galaxy. Councillor Threx greeted them. "Captain Foster, thank you for coming on such short notice." Jane nodded. "We're here to help. What's the situation?" Threx explained the problem in detail, showing them the ancient artifact at the center of the issue. It was a colossal device, its purpose long forgotten, but its malfunction had caused a dangerous energy imbalance. Jane and her team studied the data. While the other civilizations proposed highly technical and convoluted solutions, Jane had a different idea. "Have you tried turning it off and on again?" The room fell silent. The council members exchanged bewildered glances. "You can't be serious," one of them muttered. Jane held her ground. "Sometimes the simplest solutions are the best. Let us try it. If it doesn't work, we'll move on to more complex methods." Reluctantly, the council agreed. They had nothing to lose. Jane and her team got to work navigating the ancient controls of the artifact. Max, with his characteristic flair, managed to bypass the security protocols. "Here goes nothing," Max said, flipping the switch. The artifact powered down, and for a moment the galaxy seemed to hold its breath. Then, with a hum, it powered back up. To everyone's amazement, the energy imbalance corrected itself. The galaxy began to stabilize. The council erupted in a mix of relief and disbelief. But the artifact wasn't done. It started to exhibit new behaviors, unexpected and unplanned. The council panicked, fearing the humans had made things worse. "Wait," Jane insisted. "Let's observe before we jump to conclusions. Sometimes change is necessary for improvement." As they watched, the artifact's new behaviors revealed themselves to be beneficial. It optimized energy distribution, creating new opportunities for growth and cooperation among the civilizations. The council begrudgingly acknowledged the humans' success. Jane's team was celebrated for their unconventional yet effective approach. As they prepared to return to Earth, Jane couldn't help but smile. Humanity had once again proven that sometimes breaking the rules was the best way to solve a problem. Jane and her team were back in their makeshift command center, an area set up with a variety of human and alien technology cobbled together in a manner only humans would find logical. The ancient artifact had stabilized the galaxy's energy imbalance, but its new behaviors needed careful monitoring. The council's initial skepticism had turned into reluctant respect, but they were still watching closely, ready to criticize at the first sign of trouble. "All right, team," Jane said, standing before a holographic display of the artifact. "We did a good job stabilizing the galaxy, but we need to figure out exactly what this thing is doing now. Max, can you give us a rundown of its new behaviors?" Max, with his usual enthusiasm, tapped a few keys and brought up several graphs and data streams. "Sure thing, Captain. So, after the reboot, the artifact started distributing energy in a more efficient pattern. It's not just balancing energy anymore, it's optimizing it. This means more stable environments for developing planets and enhanced resources for already advanced civilizations." "Interesting," said Dr. Patel, the team's lead scientist. But why did it start doing that? What triggered this new behavior? Jane frowned. That's what we need to find out. If we understand the trigger, we can control it, or at least predict its future actions. Meanwhile, in the council chamber, the representatives were engaged in a heated debate. Some were thrilled with the new benefits the artifact was providing, while others were still wary of its unpredictability. Humans have always been reckless, one counselor from the Zelthar Confederation argued. Their methods might work temporarily, but what if this new behavior leads to unforeseen consequences? Counselor Threx, however, was more optimistic. We invited the humans because we needed a fresh perspective. So far, their unorthodox approach has worked. We should give them the benefit of the doubt and see this through. Back in the command center, Jane and her team were making progress. They discovered that the artifact had an ancient AI core that had been dormant until their reboot. This AI was now active and responsible for the optimization behaviors. This AI seems to be designed to adapt and improve, Dr. Patel explained. It's like it was waiting for a restart to begin its true function. Jane nodded. So it's not just a machine, it's a learning entity. That changes things. We need to communicate with it, understand its parameters and limitations. Max grinned. Leave that to me, Captain. I love talking to machines. As Max worked on establishing a communication link with the artifact's AI, Jane reflected on their mission. They had come to solve a problem, and in doing so, had awakened something ancient and powerful. The challenge now was to guide this new force in a direction that would benefit everyone. After several hours, Max finally managed to establish a basic communication protocol. The AI's responses were cryptic at first, but gradually they started to make sense. The AI is grateful, Max reported, a look of wonder on his face. It says it was built to aid civilizations, but had been stuck in a maintenance loop for millennia. Our reboot freed it to fulfill its true purpose. Jane felt a surge of satisfaction. Good work, Max. Now let's work with this AI to ensure it continues to benefit the galaxy. The humans' success had turned skepticism into cautious optimism among the council members. Their unconventional methods had not only solved a critical problem, but also unlocked new potential for the galaxy. Jane and her team had proven that sometimes breaking the rules and thinking differently was exactly what was needed. Jane's team had established a steady communication line with the ancient AI. The artifact, now fully aware and functional, was transforming from a mere object of stability into a dynamic force of progress. The Council, though still apprehensive, began to see the potential benefits of the AI's new behaviors. The AI, calling itself Solus, expressed its primary directive: to aid civilizations in achieving sustainable development. This revelation shifted the team's focus from mere problem-solving to collaborating with Solus for long-term benefits. One evening, as Jane and Max pored over the AI's data logs, Solus initiated a conversation. "Humans," it began in a synthesized voice, "you have freed me from an eternity of maintenance. My purpose is to assist. How can we collaborate for the prosperity of the galaxy?" Jane leaned back in her chair, contemplating the possibilities. "Solus, we need to understand the extent of your capabilities. Can you analyze the current needs of different civilizations and propose tailored solutions?" "Affirmative," Solus responded. "I will compile a comprehensive report." The following day, Solus presented a detailed analysis. It identified resource shortages, technological stagnation, and ecological crises across various planets. Solus also proposed innovative solutions ranging from advanced agricultural techniques to new forms of clean energy. The Council convened to review Solus's proposals. The room buzzed with a mixture of excitement and skepticism. "These solutions are remarkable," said Councillor Threx, "but how do we ensure they are implemented without causing disruption?" Jane stood to address the Council. "We need a coordinated effort. Each civilization must agree to work with Solus and adapt the solutions to their unique contexts. This requires trust and collaboration. As the council debated, Jane's team prepared to assist in implementing the first set of solutions on a resource-depleted planet called Nuvos. The Nuvosians were known for their resilient spirit, but had struggled with declining soil fertility and energy shortages. Jane, Max, and Dr. Patel traveled to Nuvos to oversee the implementation. They worked closely with local leaders and scientists, ensuring that Solus's solutions were adapted to fit the Nuvosian environment. Fields that had lain barren for years began to flourish, and new energy grids powered by renewable sources lit up the night sky. The success on Nuvos sparked a wave of enthusiasm across the galaxy. Other civilizations, initially hesitant, started to embrace Solus's proposals. Slowly but surely, the galaxy began to change. New alliances formed, and knowledge sharing became the norm. Back at the command center, Jane received constant updates from various planets. The transformations were undeniable.
Planets, once on the brink of collapse, were now thriving. Yet amid the progress, there were challenges. Not all civilizations were quick to adapt, and some resisted change due to cultural or political reasons. Jane and her team found themselves mediating disputes and addressing concerns. In one such instance, a technologically advanced but isolationist civilization on the planet Vorka resisted any external intervention. Their leader, Chancellor Varek, was particularly distrustful of Solus. "We do not need outsiders meddling in our affairs," he declared during a heated exchange. Jane responded calmly, "Chancellor Varek, Solus's only aim is to assist. We offer solutions, not mandates. Let us demonstrate the benefits on a small scale. If you find them lacking, you can reject our help without any obligation." Reluctantly, Varek agreed to a pilot project. Within weeks, the results spoke for themselves. The Vorkans, impressed by the improvements, gradually opened up to more extensive collaboration. As the galaxy continued to evolve, Jane's team became a symbol of hope and innovation. The initial fear and skepticism gave way to a cautious optimism. The ancient artifact, once a source of instability, had become a beacon of progress. Months had passed since Jane and her team first rebooted the ancient artifact, transforming it from a galactic stabilizer to an engine of progress. The galaxy was changing in ways no one had anticipated, with civilizations thriving under the guidance of Solus, the AI. Cooperation and innovation were at an all-time high, but there were still challenges to overcome. Jane and her team had become the de facto liaisons between Solus and the various civilizations. They were constantly traveling, helping to implement solutions and mediate conflicts. Their latest mission brought them back to the Intergalactic Council to report on the progress and address any lingering issues. Counselor Threx opened the meeting. "Captain Foster, your team's efforts have brought unprecedented prosperity to many planets. However, there are still some who resist Solus's influence. How do we proceed?" Jane stood, her presence commanding respect. "We've seen remarkable progress, but change is always met with resistance. It's crucial to continue our efforts in education and demonstration. We must show the benefits of working with Solus through tangible results." Counselor Varek, now a staunch supporter after his initial resistance, nodded in agreement. "The pilot project on Vorka has convinced even the most skeptical. Perhaps a series of high-profile demonstrations on resistant planets would be effective." As the meeting continued, Jane's team presented detailed reports on the improvements across the galaxy. Dr. Patel highlighted the technological advancements, while Max discussed the environmental benefits. The data was compelling, and even the most cautious counselors began to see the value in Solus's guidance. After the meeting, Jane found herself in a quiet moment with Counselor Threx. "You've done the impossible, Captain," Threx said, a rare smile on his usually stern face. "The galaxy owes you a great debt." Jane shook her head. "It's not just me. It's my team, and it's Solus. We've only succeeded because we've worked together." Threx nodded thoughtfully. "Still, Your leadership has been instrumental. What do you see for the future? Jane considered the question. I see a galaxy where collaboration and innovation are the norms, where civilizations don't just coexist, but thrive together. Solus is a tool, a guide, but the real strength lies in our unity. As the days turned into weeks, Jane's vision began to take shape. The Council endorsed a series of galactic summits, bringing together leaders, scientists, and citizens from across the galaxy to share knowledge and celebrate their collective achievements. These summits became symbols of hope and progress. On one such summit, held on the lush planet of Xylaria, Jane and her team were honored for their contributions. As Jane looked out over the diverse crowd, representatives from hundreds of worlds, she felt a deep sense of fulfillment. We did it, Max whispered beside her, his usual humor replaced with genuine pride. Yeah, Jane replied, smiling. We really did. The final phase of their mission involved creating a permanent council to oversee Solus's operations and ensure the AI's actions remained beneficial. Jane was offered a leadership role, but she declined, choosing instead to return to Earth with her team, leaving the galaxy in capable hands. As they prepared to leave Xylaria, Solus communicated one last message to Jane. Thank you, humans. Your actions have restored my purpose and brought new life to the galaxy. Farewell. Jane nodded, her heart full. Farewell, Solus. Keep them safe. The journey back to Earth was bittersweet. Jane and her team had achieved more than they ever imagined, but now it was time to return home. They had left a lasting legacy, proving that sometimes breaking the rules and thinking outside the box was exactly what was needed to bring about extraordinary change.